Okay, so what if I told you that your biggest, most annoying, most persistent problems in life aren't actually meant to be solved? I know, it sounds crazy. It feels like every time you conquer one, another one just pops up in its place. It's this exhausting cycle, right? Well, there's a totally different way to look at all this. The brilliant psychologist Carl Jung nailed it with this idea. He said the goal isn't to get rid of your problems, it's to evolve beyond them, to become a person for whom those old problems just aren't problems anymore. And that single concept, it is the key to everything we're about to unpack. You see, how you think about your problems right now isn't just some random mindset. It's actively steering the entire course of your life. We're going to break down 4 very distinct paths that people take. The goal here is for you to see which one you're on, and maybe which one you want to be on. To help us map this out, we're going to use this simple chart, the vibe scale. Think of it as your emotional range. All the way up at +10, that's pure heaven on earth, total euphoria. Down at -10, that's absolute hell, a pit of despair. And right in the middle, 0 is just neutrality. Keep this scale in your head as we dive into the first path. All right, path number 1. This is probably the most common trap of all, the low vibe life. People on this path see problems as a kind of personal failure, like something is wrong with them because they have problems at all. So their entire life becomes this frantic, desperate cycle of either running away from pain or chasing the next hit of pleasure. And you can see it right here in the emotional waveform. Notice how it's stuck completely in the negative zone? It just bounces between catastrophe and maybe, if you're lucky, a brief moment of numbness. This is the life of pure hedonism, just the relentless chase for pleasure. But, it has a really serious flaw. And that flaw has a name, hedonic adaptation. It's basically our brain's superpower for getting used to good things, like incredibly fast. You know this feeling. Remember when you got that new, huge TV? The first week, it was amazing, right? But after a month, it's just your TV. That thrill is gone, and you're right back where you started, needing another fix. And this isn't just a feeling, it's backed by science. Get this, psychologist Dan Gilbert did this fascinating study. He found that about a year after their massive, life-changing event, lottery winners and people who had become paraplegics reported remarkably similar levels of happiness. We just adapt. So chasing pleasure, it's a race you literally cannot win. So that brings us to our second path, the unexamined life. Now, this one isn't about chasing those intense highs of pleasure. No, this is about something way more subtle, way more sneaky, the pursuit of comfort. The motto here is basically, ignorance is bliss. Just look at the waveform for this life path. See how contained it is? It's safe. It just kind of oscillates in this very narrow, comfortable little band. People here, they avoid big risks. So yeah, they avoid major failures. But here's the catch. They also never experience those incredible peak level 10 moments of feeling truly alive. They're just distracting themselves, kind of hoping their problems will just vanish. And this is the absolute crucial point for this path. It mistakes relief for happiness. They are not the same thing. Imagine being held underwater. That first desperate gasp of air when you finally surface. Man, it feels euphoric, right? But that's not happiness. That is relief. It's the feeling of a threat being removed, of getting back to 0, not the feeling of actually growing towards something meaningful. And hey, this isn't some new idea. Socrates warned us about this thousands of years ago. A life that's just lived in this safe, distracted, unexamined zone, it's just lacking in real fulfillment. It's an existence, sure, but it's not truly living. Okay, now this brings us to the path that so many of us are sold on, especially in the whole self-improvement world. It's the fantasy life. This is the core belief that a good life is a life with 0 problems. But what if that fantasy, that very idea, is the actual thing that's making you miserable? Seriously, think about it for a second. When you believe that a perfect, problem-free life is possible, what happens when a problem inevitably shows up? It feels like a sign that something is fundamentally wrong with you. It just sets you up for this endless cycle of self-blame and disappointment. And we are bombarded with these fantasies everywhere. Social media, marketing, you name it. They sell us the idea of perfect wealth, where you never have to think about money again. Or perfect health, where you get your dream body and then the work just stops. Or the perfect relationship, where you find a soulmate and have 0 conflict. They're all myths, every single one of them. The real danger of living in this fantasy is that it makes us point the finger of blame at everything else. When your relationship has conflict, you blame the other person instead of asking, what's my role in this pattern? You know, they say when you point a finger, there are three fingers pointing back at you. If you keep seeing the same problems show up over and over again, it might be time to look at where those three fingers are pointing. And all of this leads us to our final and honestly our most powerful path. It's what the ancient Stoic philosophers called the virtuous life. This path doesn't try to get rid of problems. It completely rewires your entire relationship with them. Now look at the way for this path. It spans the entire spectrum, from the deepest, darkest lows all the way to the highest, most euphoric highs. The goal here isn't to avoid pain. The goal is to expand your capacity to feel everything, and to understand that the lows are what give the highs their meaning in the first place. And this is the crucial shift. This is the whole game. Problems stop being things that happen to you, and they start becoming opportunities for you. They're not obstacles. They are the fuel you need to outgrow who you are right now. Living this way builds what's called an anti-fragile mindset. Think about it. A fragile person, when they face stress, says, "This is breaking me." An anti-fragile person faces that exact same challenge, looks it in the eye, and says, "Why the fuck not me?" They actually believe that the stress, the pressure, the challenges, they make them stronger, not weaker. As the great Ralph Waldo Emerson put it, you can't fulfill your potential by playing it safe. You just can't. It takes real courage to face challenges head-on, to embrace the full, messy, complicated, beautiful spectrum of what it means to be alive. So how do you even start to walk this path? Well, here are 3 simple steps. First, start using your frustration and your anger not as something to push down, but as fuel to demand better for yourself. Second, you have to actively flip your perspective from "why is this happening to me?" to "why not me?" And third, just start saying yes to the things that scare you a little bit, the things that you know are going to force you to grow. And here it is, the whole framework in one place. You've got the low vibe life, which runs from problems by chasing pleasure. The unexamined life, which ignores them by chasing comfort. The fantasy life, which blames others for them. And finally, the virtuous life, which embraces problems as a chance to pursue real growth. And that brings us right back to where we started. The goal was never to solve every single problem that comes your way. It was always about becoming the kind of person for whom those problems just don't feel so big anymore. It was always about growth. So the only real question left to ask yourself is this: what problem in your life right now isn't an obstacle you need to solve, but an invitation to become more than you currently are? What is it that you need to outgrow?